Welcome to the fish tank.
Hey everybody, Fishman here. Welcome to another video. I build a lot of things, and a lot of those things I build are out of acrylic. And sometimes I make a project and it doesn't really have any applications, either because it doesn't quite meet up to standards, or in this particular case it's part of the You Decide builds and it was just intermediary. It was a great way of testing out to see how the rolling drums worked. But in the final build, it wasn't necessary. Actually, I needed a much taller one. So, in past times, this would end up either gathering dust, or I could only use it. I could cut it up and use it for something, but only in the shop because it would get scratched up on the table saw. With the saw sled, it travels on a surface, the wood. It doesn't get scratched at all. I can cut it nice and square. And so this can get repurposed easily, and that goes for a lot of the other builds I do, and that's actually a great money saver. I'm really happy I ended up making this thing. One of the things I had to build for it, for the thin pieces, is I had to get, starting to build some brackets, so I can make sure when I do the cuts are perfectly square. Because the funny thing about acrylic is it's not forgiving at all. If the sizes aren't perfect and the squareness isn't perfect, it just doesn't glue together well. And that can actually make, first off, you get bubbles everywhere, and it also puts strain on the joints. So it is a little bit finickier to work with, but this makes it simple, and that's actually, again, a great save in material and time. So here are the pieces. It's going to be a very similar build to the original high humidity I did. And this one, though, is going to run off of, it's going to run off a box filter, and this one's going to be air driven, simply because it's, one I have currently running, and I think the tank could benefit from something like this. So I'm going to stick all this together. These are the offcuts. These three pieces here are of sufficient size that I'll be able to reuse those. Those ones there are going to be scrap, but the tray itself, the bottom piece, I'll just put two sides on that, and I'll definitely be able to use that too. So there's very little in the way of waste, and that's actually really good. I'm showing you this particular part here is because look how clean those joints are. That is a benefit of the saw sled. It holds things square enough that you don't get any of the bubbles, and it makes everything look a lot cleaner. And that's just good for, just looking at it, and of course for clients. So this is all together. Now the one thing different that I'm going to do for this particular high humidity build is I'm going to make an easily removable top. And that's this here. I didn't bother showing you the construction of it because it's just a box with a couple of brackets on the ends. I did one little thing different. I put a little notch on the end, so once this is all planted up and everything, all I have to do is this. And it comes off. That is such a benefit. I like the original one. It has a sliding tray for it so that it can come out, but it's a little hard to get into, and unfortunately that means I don't clean it or prune it anywhere near as much as it should. And as you can see, it is very overgrown. But I really like this filter. This filter does such a good job. This tank it's on is so stable. I mean, a lot of people, when they talk about planter filters, they talk about nitrate removal. And that is a thing. They do obviously remove nitrogen from the aquarium because plants need it to grow. This is where it came from, by the way. And this is, you can see it's got quite disturbed by me pulling this thing out. But planter filters, from my perspective, it's more important that it keeps the tank stable. A stable aquarium has a lot of benefits. First off, you do a lot less maintenance on it, which, if you have a busy life like me, or just a number of fish tanks, you don't want to spend all your free time cleaning them. A stable tank doesn't need as much maintenance. I mean, that tank you saw there, I don't ever clean algae. Oh, by the way, this is the Anubias that was in there, and I had thought that it had just got overgrown and was dead. But it's still growing. It is a little pale. The leaves aren't as happy as they would be if it had a little bit more light. But Nubius is really forgiving. It is actually still like growing, which is kind of cool. Now, with a stable environment, the fish do a lot better. There's a lot less maintenance. You don't have to do as many water changes. I don't do anything to that tank except partial water changes. And then even those I just do because I'm doing the water changes in the fish room. I don't think it's actually necessary to do water changes on that particular tank as much as some of the others. But that's probably for a future time. So as you can see, I am drastically pruning this back. There's the Nana Petite. It's actually doing better than the other one. And it, again, was completely encased in Java fern and was still doing fine. And you can see how hard this is to pull apart. It has great rhizomes. It's actually doing exceptionally well. So I'm going to prune this back to, well, to this. I'm going to put a little bit of the other plants in there. I'm going to keep the Anubias, both of them. I'm going to put a little extra lava rock in here. And in a few months, this will start filling up all over again. And that's actually cool because I never run out of need for Java fern. It's a great plant. So this is going to go back in. And then what we're going to do is set up the new one. So I'm going to put a bunch of, again, lava rock. I tend to use an awful lot of lava rock, mostly because it is really cheap and it is very porous and it does really well. I know there are a lot of commercial stuff out there, and I have tested some of it. It comes right down to it that I don't see a sufficient increase in. I actually don't see any increase. I don't see an improvement at all in any of those materials. There's nothing wrong with them, except for the fact that this costs $3 or $4 for a massive bag that lasts me a year, and then of course the prices and stuff for the other ones. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take one of these pieces. The rest of it will go into tanks, and like I said, I have clients who need that stuff, so it'll also go into clients' tanks. And the only other thing I need to do here is you'll notice a couple of the pieces, like this one here, right near the tips. It was pressing up against the top of the acrylic, and that was causing some of them to turn a little bit black, and I'm going to prune those off. But other than that, it was fine. And the other build, the new one, I built it a little bit taller because first off, there's a space for it there. But I want to see the Java fern grow, to its full capacity, and avoid this part as well. It's not a big deal. It's easy to prune, and that's all fine. But anyway, I just want to see. Hopefully, the new version of this will do really well. And then, like I said, I got a couple clients I want to try this out on, and I'm going to put a few more of these in the fish room as well. And like I said, it's a great way for growing plants, and it keeps the tanks nice and stable. So hopefully the smaller versions here running off the box filters will do as well as the undergravel filter version. And, well, time will tell. So that's pretty much the end of this. I'm going to finish pruning this and setting it all up and putting it in the tanks and showing what they look like. But that's going to be it for this video. Friday's video is actually not going to be a fish video. This is my current workstation. This is what I work on to do all the builds. You've seen it tons of times. Well, I need to make a new one because one of the things I waste the most time with is finding and getting tools and getting all the parts I need to put together for doing something. And so I'm going to build a new workstation. It's going to be out of wood, and you'll see that on Friday. And it's going to have drawers and places that I can put all the stuff I need to do all this sort of stuff right where I need it. And hopefully I won't spend too much time going to look for things. That is, of course, if I put things back where they belong. But that's a whole other kettle of fish, so I won't worry about that for now. As you can see, I'm leaving a good chunk of this empty. And I suspect in short order it will fill up, and well, that's what it's for, so that's good. We'll see how this does as well. So I'm going to show this to you. This is just set up. It's bubbling nicely, it's percolating nicely, and as you can see, it messed up the tank quite a bit, but that'll all clear. Those box filters actually do a great job for that. So anyway, if you like this style of video, please like and or subscribe, and definitely leave comments below on what you think of all this, and any ideas you might have. I always listen and answer your comments, of course. And you can see here I just tossed some of the pieces in here, and this tank as well. And well, those are actually going to go to the client, so that'll be well, they won't stay here, that's for sure. So this is what's left of the other one, plus a little bit of jade. You can see the mess this was. I'm going to be interesting to see how this tank fares with that drastic reduction in plant material, but we'll see. So thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video, and bye for now.